What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the show. AOR here. I'm starting the stream because there's some really big news coming our way for the game Icarus. So this is kind of a, I wouldn't say random stream, but it's going to be mostly oriented towards the news about the major update to the game week 206. So just real quick, I'm going to drag this over so you guys can see this. Basically, in this update, they're going to be introducing a new tech tier 5, which will allow us to use oil extraction at existing geysers that will be present in clumps to all existing maps. So if you don't have, like say you're on Prometheus or Styx or Olympus, and that map isn't getting this biome, there will be geysers that have oil now that can be extracted. And that's going to be basically the core for the entire new tier 5. So in the tech tree here, we currently have just these 4 tiers, right? But coming next week or in the following week, they haven't really said, they're going to be adding a new tier, tier 5. And it's all going to be centered around oil. So this is a huge, big announcement for the game. I actually really think that this game might be getting a lot more attention. So I'm kind of glad I got in when I did. And I started building on these different maps. I basically have a persistent world now on Prometheus, Styx, and Olympus. This being the newest base that I built. If you're watching this stream, the episode for this I just finished editing today, in fact. So that will be coming out tomorrow night. That's our season 4, episode 3, I believe. And I'm glad because this location here in Prometheus is literally just a stone's throw away from this geyser here. So obviously we don't know that every geyser is going to have access to oil, but there is a potential that this geyser will be oil, or they're just going to be adding new geysers into existing maps. Either way, I think what I'm going to do in this stream is just start focusing on leveling up as much as I can, because I have a feeling I'm going to be wanting as many perk points as I can to unlock as much as I can in the new tier 5. So this is like a, basically I'm going to be grinding in this whole stream to try and give myself as much points as I can to level up. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy this stream. If you're joining me tonight, I appreciate the hell out of you. It's been a pretty interesting time here. And I've got to say, all things considered, things could definitely be worse. And I'm glad they're not. Just got back home from visiting family over in Hawaii. So that was fun. I was able to take my girlfriend with me. We went and visited the national park there, the Volcanoes National Park, and that was pretty epic. We did a bunch of hikes. I mean, basically all the tourist things that you could think of. I mean, we were eating coconuts, going to the beach, eating awesome food, spending time with family. It was great. It was a much needed time away. So we are back in the mainland, and since today is Saturday evening, I thought I'd jump in real quick, make this huge announcement for you guys, for those of you who will be able to see this, and just honestly start trying to rack up the experience points as much as I can. The aim of the game right now is just anything I can do to farm XP. I'm doing it. I'm doing all of it. So all this hunting I'm going to do, I'm going to take all the bones, process that into epoxy. I imagine they're going to be adding new tools to harvest the oil. And so I don't know if I should bother making any of the things that currently exist. For example, I'm looking at tier 4 and they do have the vapor condenser. I don't know if they're going to reuse this because currently, if I remember correctly, you can put this on any geyser across all the map to condense vapor into exotics, condense enzymes, the whole 9 yards, right? Or there's a, I think it's a, is it a vapor extractor that also makes water? I think it does both. But I don't know if any of these items are going to be useful for tier 5, specifically oil extraction. So right now I'm just going to start racking up points and unlocking things I think might be useful or helpful for tier 5. And then looking at this, I mean, obviously I have 15 points. I've been saving these points for a while now because I have anticipated something amazing happening. I guess good things do actually come to those who wait. But if I can, I'm just going to start dumping some of this stuff and crafting as much as I can. With anything that can be used, obviously. Not everything can. Some of this, you know, is going to be actually useful. And then I've got tons of leather on me, obviously, so I can start crafting that all into rope. Do I need that much rope? Definitely not. I'm just trying to use the resources I have available, like even these bandages. I'm going to start crafting bandages even. We do have a tier 3 storm coming. I wanted to give you guys kind of a general tour of this new base here in Prometheus. The intent was to highlight some of the newest updates that came out from week 204, 205, and now 206. So if I can hop back over, I can kind of demonstrate this for you. It's not going to let me show you, is it? Interesting. Can I not drag this over? Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so if I can just expand this out. Looking at week 204, so they had a bunch of like new rustic furniture items, new creatures. I think this is going to be a huge proponent, this mount specifically, the raptor. It's probably going to be a huge proponent of the new biome. So I think that's going to be kind of exciting. I don't know, it kind of feels a lot like the Ubis and the Moa. But it does look different. I'm sure it has a new tech tree and skill tree associated with that specific mount. So even that will be interesting. Otherwise, I mean, I think week 204 introduced some epic new furniture and decoration. 205 was significant. It's the stone brick fireplace. And then a bunch of new fixes. And then the announcement of the new geothermal biome, right? This is like a huge announcement from them. Now, I'm not clear yet if this is going to be like a DLC that you have to buy, or if this is going to be just added to the maps around either Prometheus, Styx, or Olympus. I'm not sure if this is going to be like a standalone. I don't know yet. I'm hoping they just add it to the maps, personally. And obviously like the frag grenade, right? So all of that was, I think, added in on week 205. So they had a bunch of notable improvements, you know, the announcement of the impact grenade, which is now available since it's week 206. So that frag grenade is available. I mean, look, I think the impact grenade is rad for what it is, but I'm really mostly excited about this announcement, tier 5 coming. I've been anticipating this for a while now, and I think in a live stream probably 3 or 4 episodes ago, a viewer and I were talking about the new Tier 5 coming and the excitement surrounding new items to be crafted, new biomes to explore, and I guess like just a new level to take the base to. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited. And obviously they have like the butchery bench coming up, I think in the following week. It's a station that will allow you to break down prime meats using existing recipes as well as unlock entirely new recipes, enabling you to craft prime meats from scratch. So, look, I think these things are great. I think this is good news. I think this is exactly what you would want to see if you were playing this game. Knowing that it's in beta, like this is exactly what we like to hear. I definitely have some concerns. I'd like to see some improvements be made still in other regards, but for what it's worth, I mean, I'll take it. If this is what they'll give us at this point, I think that is better than nothing. I'm just hoping that they make it available to everyone, and that it doesn't. I'm hoping it doesn't require a new DLC, because I think if it does, I think they're gonna do a great disservice to everyone who already has the base level game, especially if it's just Olympus and you don't have, say, Styx or Prometheus. Like, I think that would be kind of upsetting to probably the majority of players. I'm assuming that less than half of the players actually have all the DLCs, like myself. I have most of the DLCs except for maybe one outpost, but it's because I just didn't see the point in having an Arctic outpost standalone when I could easily, in this persistent world, just play this game. So fingers crossed, guys. I'm really hoping that those of you who have like the standard game, you'll have access to the new biomes, should there be any, and just the tier 5 is going to be really available to anyone. It would be really confusing if that's not the case, so for what it's worth, I do think most everyone will be fine. So I'm going to head back to base here, drop this stuff off, and then pull out the bow and start a lot more crafting, get a lot more hunting done. That tier 3 storm is kicking off outside. I will say, kind of a low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to talk about this in my video that comes out tomorrow night, is I'd like to see more of these building materials become tier 6 resistant. Right now I think we have 5 or 6 different building material sets that are all tier 5, which makes no sense to me. You have concrete, which is the only tier 7 building base set material, and then everything else is essentially either base 5 or less. So if I look at the tech tree here and go to tier 2, I'm just gonna kind of demonstrate this for you guys. So whether you play this game a lot and understand what I'm talking about, or don't play this game at all and have no understanding, I'm just gonna make this as digestible and simple for you as possible. Tier 2, which is pretty early in the game, you have the stone building base set, which resists tier 5 storms. You also have the scoria building base set, which resists tier 5 storms. And then if you go up here, you'll have the beeswax wood building base set, also tier 5. So that's 3 right there. So the interior walls, obviously these are meant to be inside only. That's why they're tier 1. But if we bounce to tier 3, you have additional base building sets here at the very back. Aluminum, tier 5, so that's 4. Scoria brick, tier 5, that's a 5th base building set. Clay brick building, also tier 5. Stone brick building base set, also tier 5. So why would you bother? This isn't a criticism, by the way. It might sound like I'm like absolutely dogging on the devs here. I'm not. It's purely just an observation. But from a expense standpoint, why would you go through the trouble of building your base, say, out of stone brick, which is very expensive, by the way? Like, let me take you to the advanced masonry bench and show you how much it costs to craft just a single wall, okay? So one wall costs 23 brick stone, or excuse me, stone brick, 5 refined wood, 5 tree sap, and 5 steel screws. So it's not cheap, and keep in mind, 1 brick costs 3 stone. That's not bad, right? It's the actual components themselves, right? So 5 refined wood, again 5 tree sap, and 5 steel screws, in addition to 23 stone bricks just to make 1 wall. That's pretty expensive, when you could just have stopped at tier 2 and done just a stone based building set, which costs significantly less resources. I have a hard time with this one personally. I'm going to go back into my opinion now. This isn't an observation. This is just a matter of fact from my point of view. Why on earth would I do anything other than the stone building base set, if not just for aesthetics, right? Anything past this stone building base set at tier 2 is purely aesthetic at that point. So the unfortunate reality is if you are on Prometheus and you want to leave your base for an extended period of time and you want to come back home and see your base is still here, it would behoove you to build out of tier 4 tier 3 the concrete building base set, because this is the only thing that won't take damage while you're gone. And I just mean specifically weather, right? Obviously, if an animal attacks your base or you drop a pod that's too close to your building, you're going to take damage, right? I'm speaking specifically about weather right now. So everything besides this, the concrete building base set, is essentially tier 5 or less. So I think it might be in the devs' best interests, and I would propose that they make these items here, like the aluminum base building set, the scoria brick, clay brick, and even the stone brick building base set. All of these I think should be resistant to tier 6 storms. So in explaining this, I think the next question comes is, well, how often does let's say a tier 5 through 7 storm arrive? Well, not as often as you would think, unless you're on Prometheus. Now, if you're on Prometheus, it's not uncommon to have multiple tier 6 storms come through in a week. I think I've been around for 2 tier 6 storms in the same in-game week. Mind you, that doesn't happen very often, and admittedly, I've never actually seen a tier 7 storm. I was playing on my buddy Chief's persistent world, also Prometheus, when he was hit by a tier 7 storm. But I don't think I've ever been on my own persistent map and had to deal with a tier 7 storm. That's just my own personal experience. It's confusing for me personally because I've spent how many hours now? Let's take a look at my Steam account here. I have played 730 hours now of Icarus, and I've not seen a tier 7 storm appear on one of my persistent maps. Maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe I'm just that fortunate. But God forbid that you leave your base and you're away doing a mission or a simple quest and a tier 7 storm hits. Your concrete base will definitely take some damage. It's definitely not going to take no damage, right? I think we all know this and understand this. So even though this base resists tier 5 storms, it will incur a little bit of damage. Now, if a tier 6 storm or tier 7 storm arrives, it will definitely take normal damage. So it's kind of hard to me to want to invest time and energy like this into a base of a tier 5 resistance and then feel comfortable being away for an extended period of time. It just doesn't make sense to me. Because it's not, I don't know. I mean, I feel like anything made out of brick or stone is really just going to be fine. But yeah, tier 5 is all it takes, and this thing could all come crumbling down. And if you have any crafting benches in here, those will also be destroyed. You'll have to rebuild them from scratch. So unfortunately, that's just kind of the reality of where this building base set is at in this current iteration of the game. Again, that's not a criticism, it's just an observation. I hope you guys don't think I'm like absolutely dogging on the game. I promise I'm not. Obviously, I've played this game for damn near 800 hours, and I'm really happy and looking forward to playing for the next 800 hours. Like, I love playing this game, so please do not, get me wrong. I am pretty happy with the state of the game. I'm just a bit curious to see how that will play out in the long run. So somewhere in one of these stations I have a water bottle, I think, or something for hydration. I don't know if one of them got taken to craft a recipe. I thought I did. It's clear that I don't. It also wouldn't be a bad idea for me to... Oh, is it in here? No. It wouldn't be a bad idea to start bringing things down. I had so many items on different planets, either doing missions or just persistent worlds that I was like testing, doing different things on. And so all of these items that you see here, you'll see a lot of duplicates. It's because I started a lot of persistent maps. And so fortunately those that were insured, I have basically returned them to my inventory. And so I'm just going to drop, I think, a water container to myself, as well as a new oxygen tank. I'll bring the shovel. I don't want to have to buy hydrazine. I want to basically save all of the money that I have left in this game for new items that they introduce later in the game. I think that should be good. I think I might swap my pickaxe, but other than that, I don't need anything else. So hopefully that makes sense. I mean, if that wasn't very clear, or if it was too confusing, feel free to jump in the comments. I'll pull those out right now. That way I can make sure that if you guys do ask any questions about that or ask me to explain, I'm able to elaborate for you guys. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to optimization. I think the devs have been doing a good job of optimizing where they can. I just think there's a couple of things that are considered low-hanging fruit. And obviously I'm not a coder. I don't make video games, right? I play them. So in my head, what may seem like a very simple task may actually be a very complex issue. So I'm not ignorant. That's not lost on me. I just think it's strange that after all this time, we have 6 or 7 different building base material sets that are all tier 5 and none that I'm aware of that are tier 6. Maybe this is going to be addressed in the new biomes, in the new tier 5. I would really hope that they have something coming that's different. If I could wave a magic wand, if I could have my cake and eat it too, so to speak, it would be that you could craft concrete, and once you have crafted your entire base in concrete, you could change the way it looks by using the feature on the hammer. So For example, if I build a base tier 5 resistant storm material like a stone brick, I can change it to a similar look, or excuse me, a similar rating of storm resistance, like scoria brick, clay brick, scoria, the beeswax wood, and the stone. These all share the same storm resistance, these 5 materials. Also aluminum. So if I build stone brick, I would like to use this feature to change the way it looks based on the fact that I'm building already tier 5. So if it were up to me, and I could wave a magic wand, I would like it where you build the highest tier, say tier 7, and then you can just pick how you want the interior to look based on what you've already crafted. So if I craft a stone brick wall, which is resistance tier 5, you can't then make it look like a tier 7 item, but you can do it in the reverse. If you build a concrete item, you can make it look like stone brick. That might be very confusing for you guys, but basically what I want to have happen is if you build out of a material that's strong, you can make it look like items that are as strong or less. And if you build a material that is not strong, you can make it look like the other materials that are also not strong. In my head, I think that would be the most ideal situation because, to be honest, a concrete base building set just doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing as the stone brick or even the scoria, and certainly not the beeswax. The beeswax wall might be my favorite aesthetic so far, just because it looks so unique. But yeah, it's just there's no incentive because again, if a tier 6 storm or tier 7 storm rolls along, it's kind of all for nothing. So I'm hoping that makes sense for you guys. If not, I apologize. I'm trying my best here to make it make sense for those of you who either play very much or not at all. But I think the aim of the game right now is level up, get as much experience as you can, get as much tech tree points as you can, because we have a new tier of crafting coming, and I am frothing at the mouth at this idea. I'm pretty stoked. Let me just pull up these comments here, that way I'm not missing anything. Let's see here, comments. Here we go. Oh, almost. Okay, comments are open. Well, I'm gonna drop all this stuff here, guys. There's no point in hanging on to any of it. Let's just start making the most of it. I also really appreciate that the animal fat doesn't expire. That's pretty handy, actually. I'm a fan of that. I would be very curious to see what the butchery bench brings us in the next update. I'm really hoping for, I think, more immersive. I think the recipes I would like to see, I'm just really hoping for more immersion in these recipes. Something that's lore friendly, I think, would be ideal. Okay, and that should be it. I think I can toss one of these stacks just into here. And if I can do that, I can keep my lantern topped off as well. We definitely needed water, so that was great. Okay, so I'm gonna offload rope, leather even. I want to store as much of this fur as I can. I think I'd like to mess around a little bit with these different rugs that I can make around the base. The hope is that I can find something that looks kind of cozy and cutesy to really just help the aesthetic of this base pop. all of this again is going to be coming out in my next video, which will drop tomorrow night. So if you guys want to see that, make sure to subscribe and select the notification, so when it does drop, it'll be available to you in whatever time zone you're in. Okay, I'm gonna keep these food items at the top bar. I'm probably gonna drop this into here for now, and then I'm gonna swap tanks basically. I'm gonna keep my water container on me. We can drop the salt. Toss these bones in here. We have quite a bit of crushed bone in here, so let's just craft as much epoxy as it'll let us. And again, it's tricky because like part of me is like really trying to anticipate what kinds of things I can start crafting now to best set me up for success once the new tier drops. I imagine it's going to require the same components for crafting. The problem is it said that oil is basically going to be the core requirement for all the things in tier 5. But almost everything needs copper and gold wire, right? Like, look at how many of these electronics there are in just tier 3 and tier 4 alone. So I feel like if I can find common... Yeah. Okay, so things like steel screws, electronics. Like, if you want to get ahead of the curve right now for tier 5, I would probably anticipate that that's how you would do it. You would make things like carbon fiber, steel screws, electronics, get aluminum ingot, get copper wire, get glass going. All of those items that I think that are like most commonly shared amongst all of these different recipes. Composites is another one. Composites are so expensive to craft with the material processor. Like, I think that's probably the thing I focus on after this stream, is like just really racking up all the crafting materials that I think it will be necessary and used in tier 5. So I've got 15 points racked up. I think if I can get a couple more, I'll be pretty happy with that. It's not super necessary. I'm sure as I play, as I build the different items that are there, there's just a natural progression that will occur. And there's another few tech tree points. I'm pretty happy with that. We have 19 now. Sweet. Yeah, if I could level up like one more time, I'd be pretty stoked about that. Oh. Let's go ahead and start getting some of these guys out. I'm gonna craft a bunch more of these bone arrows, basically. Bone arrows are like kind of a happy medium for me. I honestly kind of like how effective they are, and they're pretty cheap. Let's just do these. We can drop the rest. I don't think I need very much fur at this point. I think where we are with fur is a good place. I just needed enough to be able to... What was... Oh... No way, dude. Okay. If I was a betting man, this is gonna be an oil geyser. Yep. I'm gonna mark this on my map. Okay. Top right corner of H10. So, in the 800 hours of gameplay, I have never once have I ever seen this anywhere on the map. this is so obviously not common, and I am unfamiliar with this like topography, that I'm pretty sure they've started pre-marking destinations and points of interest for their oil geysers. I'm like 99% sure that this is going to be one. So again, top right corner of H10. Again, I'm on Prometheus for those of you who are watching. I definitely appreciate you guys joining this evening. I'm going to keep running around here. But that is crazy exciting. I am so sure that that's what this is going to be. I've been wrong before. But I know, based on what I'm looking at, this is probably going to be an oil geyser. I was playing earlier today before the update, and I'm playing now, and I've not seen this type of topography yet anywhere on the map. So, and the fact that it's like matrixing and moving a little bit makes me think that they haven't quite finished doing whatever meshes that they were trying to do there. It's too funny. But I mean, there's a geyser right here too. Look at it. Every time you come up to it, the meshes like wig out because it hasn't been they haven't finished it yet. That's funny. I mean, I'm happy with that. If that's how they're going to do it. My base is literally right there, so that is good news for me. But if I was betting, man, that's what that's going to be. Any other animals in this area? We're going to run around. Just start taking animals, anything we can at this point, just to rack up farm XP is the name of the game. Grab these sticks to craft some bone arrows. Should be enough. I think my plan is to just shoot everything. I'm not even going to bother. That should be enough. Yeah, I'm not going to bother trying to recover everything. And as we go, I'll just craft new arrows. If I can pull my arrows, great. If not, I'll just craft new ones. If I can get up to 100 arrows, that'd be great. Definitely don't need that many, but I'm going to be doing a lot of hunting. Basically, that's going to be my game plan, to try and rack up as much of these XP farms as I can. I could cook some of these up. I definitely don't need all of this meat. What does that put us at? 82? That's not bad. Yeah, if I can get just a... Ooh, snow leopard. He's stuck in there. Yeah, the nice thing about this location I've picked for my base is it's a really nice place to retreat to. If I get surrounded, just hop and a skip. And there's like literally nothing that can get to me. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Epoxy. And then look at this. I'm gonna toss the meat on here. Oh, there's my water bottle. I didn't even think to check the fireplace. That's funny. Okay, I'm gonna take some of this meat off and probably salt it. This contains warm water. This contains cold water. Yeah, I'd like to make a coffee. If I could do that, I think that'd be great. Consume. Consume. Okay. Where did I put that salt? Oh, there it is. Can I think I have salt in here? Or is it back here? Yeah, I was moving a bunch of these items around earlier today. Started misplacing things. I'm not going to bother salting this stack, to be honest. Or this one. Just going to keep those here. Okay. I'm going to leave the bottle of cold water behind just because we're in the Arctic area. We definitely don't want the effects of cold water. We'll basically take damage. Hypothermia. Especially if we're getting wet. That was a good shot. Okay, blue jack. Snow leopard. Missed. There we go. A couple of snow leopards right here. Oh, that one's falling off. Oh, never mind. We're good. Oh, there it goes. Can I carry it? I think I want to pull the vestiges from these two. Bones. I don't think I need any more leather at this point. We have so much leather. Definitely don't need the meats. Yeah, what's also a bit confusing about the snow leopards is I've noticed they actually don't drop any of the Arctic fur. I want to say the only things I've found that drop Arctic fur, I want to say it's like the polar bear and the like shaggy zebra. Where's that thing anyway? Haven't seen one in a while. Yeah, you would think for sure, right, that like the snow leopard and the snow wolf would definitely drop those things, but they do not. I don't think I've ever seen a snow leopard drop Arctic fur. Yeah, it's always just like normal, regular fur, which is a bit of a bummer. Because I think one of the recipes I'm trying to craft right now calls for that fur type. So if I can find a polar bear, that would also be rad. Start pulling off the right fur. And drop that. Take these with us. Drop. Drop. Yeah, I could take all the meat that I'm getting and just like store it and let it go bad to either make poison paste or toss it in my biocomposter. But with how much hunting I'm going to be doing, I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to be just kind of running around the map like a madman. And we'll probably head into the conifer area and just hunt in there as well. Okay, so I think in here I can start with the bone at the very least. Drop vestiges. And then we have quite a bit of fur and sticks. We can toss these in. Just gonna put up a stack of sticks up here. So I'm farming as much charcoal as I can. I feel like lately I've been falling behind the curve on the charcoal farming. So I'm just stacking everything basically in here. The bacon and cooked giant steaks. That actually sounds really good right now. Okay. We definitely don't need any more leather. I think we have some fur in here as well. So we definitely don't need any more of the fur. So I'll hang on to the leather that I do have. And then I'll toss some fiber in here as well. Never know when you're going to need that. I did have this Equix trophy. I was thinking about putting him here. What do you guys think about that? Does that look good? It's kind of a big trophy mount for like just a ungulate, but I don't know. Looks good there, I suppose. Anyway, I'm gonna keep this down here. We can start crafting more rope. Just get that going there. Eat some food. Okay, that should be good. Let's head out to the conifer. Ooh, let me just top off on my lantern real quick. I've been trying to keep it on just so that like you guys have a better view of what's happening around me, but now that it's daytime, we definitely don't need to lean on that quite as heavily. Also, if I were smart, I'd probably try to come up with a way to traverse that area there around this front part of the lake up to my base. Because currently getting across here is quite simple. Obviously I just jump across. But the only way to access my base from down there is to swim up to this waterfall, swim up the waterfall, and then hop out over here, and then jump across up there, right? But man, I'm gonna have to think about that one for a while, because I currently don't know what I do to get up and across. I would like to swap for my 40% fall damage resistance. Let's do heat and cold resistance. Okay. Toss that guy in there. Cool. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, I just think the challenge of, right now at least, getting from this area on the front of the lake to my base is quite the challenge. And because it's the Arctic biome, I'm basically having to swim through the water in these freezing cold temperatures to get back up to my base. There really is no other way that I'm aware of, at least at this stage in the game. Yeah, even if I just did like a staircase from like this ledge right here up to that ledge there, that might actually work. I could probably make that work. Oh! I did not see that guy. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of predators right there on top of me. No problem. Let's take the bacon, bones, and drop most of this other stuff. Yeah, I think if I can just have like stacks on stacks of epoxy by the end of this whole hunting trip, I'm going to be pretty happy about that progress. I think that'll be super handy. I imagine things in tier 5 are still going to require epoxy, copper wire, gold wire, electronics, probably steel screws, carbon fiber, definitely composites. I don't think we're going to be able to escape composites anytime soon. I think it would be cool if they introduced like a polyurethane. I think if they have like any kind of those plastics or, you know, carbon fibers that we can make out of any of the polyurethane products or ethanol products, I think that'd be pretty rad. I'm gonna drop that actually, we don't need that. Sweet. Okay, so let's go back to chopping this tree here. Yeah, because to basically get up to my base now, either I swim why walk really far down to the southwest and then curve back around to get up onto like this cliff area here? But if I could just craft just like even a temporary, honestly, just like a temporary staircase, I'd be happy with even that. So let's get a few of those going. Okay, and if I can get this to be like a little lower. Probably start it somewhere in here, I think. And then if I can go just straight up. No! Okay, I need 3 of those. If I can just get it to go into that cliff right there, it won't continue to crack and break. So let's try that again, just really fast. There we go. That works, kind of. I mean, it's not breaking, so if I can tie this guy into the ground as well. Yeah, I should be able to get my Ubis. Oh. Is that too... That is too high, isn't it? Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, well... I can put this guy out, I suppose. Maybe there? And... yeah, maybe I can tie a couple of those in, actually. Can I do a few of these? Just stack them kind of in here, and then we can continue the staircase up, maybe. But if I can do here, and I'm thinking here, we can continue the staircase up. And then pivot it again, do like another floor right here, or 2. Okay, so that does let me walk up onto it. Yeah, it's weird that this edge right here, it just like stops. Like I would think that I'd be able to just like walk right over that. It's not letting me. So maybe I just clean this spot up a bit. Oh, leopard. There he goes. Oh, we got another leopard. Oh, there that one goes. Huh. Wonder what it is about this that they can't just like walk down right here. That's interesting. But in any case, I think if I can tie this in somehow so that when I walk up here, there's like a level platform, I think that would be more ideal. Because currently this is like kind of an awkward way to walk up here. I wonder if I could I do maybe a half wall? Or even a full wall. Just tie that in so it's not terrible. Can I go under? I don't know if it wants me to. It really doesn't like that, does it? I'd like to put it like right under there, but it's not wanting to go there. I'm gonna have to think about that one a little bit more. I think if I could put a flat piece here, maybe. Could I tie it in here? It really doesn't want me to, does it? Can I... How many more of these can I build? I just need 2. So I do think that if I were to put another flat piece right here, a 4-piece, I think I could remove that. And then that's not as awkward, but it's still pretty awkward. Then we have like a nice little lookout spot right here. And then we can continue up the ramp. And then we can literally walk right up on there. That's super nice. I don't think that's going to be a problem for a Ubis or a MOA. And obviously we're going to want to build this out of sturdier materials as soon as we can. But for now at least, it's built. And then I'll just start throwing these out. A little bit of rigidity here. There we go. I'm hoping that's strong enough. It may not be, but this should help. And I can do a vertical beam right there as well. And then tie those two together like so. Is this going to be exposed? Can I angle it? No, because that's... Oh, it's partially exposed. Can I rip that out? Oh, I don't know what just happened. I was trying to rip out this beam. That beam right there. Yeah, that isn't going to let me get it back ever again. Unfortunate. That's okay. And then I'll just put that ramp piece back right there. There we go. Yeah. Honestly, I think that'll work. I think that'll be fine. We've added some beams. It's structurally sound. We are good to go. I'm going to go ahead and destroy these extra pieces. That wall. And this ramp. Cool. I'm going to toss... bacon is probably my favorite food in this game right now. Because you can stack it to 50. So I'm going to want to run back to my base. Toss these in. Well, folks, I'm going to head to the conifer landscape. And do a bit of hunting there. And then I'm just going to spend probably the next few days in game hunting and just collecting resources, preparing myself for tier 5. Guys, if you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. It is free for you and helps to build this channel. I will see you guys next time. I appreciate you guys watching this rather short and probably very confusing stream for some of you, but I did my best. I made it for you. Until next time, take care.